Well, welcome to day 30 of 30 days toward creating a family ministry plan for your church. You've hung in there with us. It's been an incredible month. We hope that you've had a lot of questions answered. We hope you've understood and grasped and grappled with a lot of new ideas about family ministry and church and home. And we hope it's been as much of a blessing to you as it has been for us. So make sure that you keep in mind that at the end of this session, you're going to hear about a bonus session tomorrow, and you don't want to miss out on that. So stay tuned. Before we get going, Ron, John Trent actually endorsed your book, and he's with Moody Theological Seminary, also the author of The Blessing and Life Mapping. And he said about the DNA of D6, he said, Ron Hunter is nothing short of a world-class spiritual DNA expert. He understands the building blocks God uses to build strong families and strong children, and shares them in a way that's real, that's really understandable, and really needed by parents today. So an incredible endorsement. So, okay, let's say that we're pastors or ministry leaders that have been watching. We've been with you these 30 days. Maybe we've read the book, all of that. We've even given it to our leaders, and we've discussed it with our leaders. But now we want to launch it to our church. How in the world do we begin doing that?
Right. In the last session, we said that significant change is a process, not an event. Mm-hmm. So you have bought in, or you wouldn't be here with us for day 30. Your key leaders are going to read with you. The next step is to begin to launch this to the whole church. Take the people who have read, sit down with people who have not read, and ask the key question. And this begins to filter down to the next steps. So your departmental leaders, your head of children, head of student, head of grandparenting, head of adults, get the key influencers under them together and say, okay, if we're going to build a church that focuses on every generation, not just the older, not just the younger, but every single generation, what should it look like? What do we need to change? And that word change is sometimes threatening. So I really like using the phrase or the question, if we were to start over today and build it from scratch, what should it look like? That's less threatening. Because then, hey, I haven't attacked something my mama built or my dad implemented as a new program. So ask that question, if we were building this over today, what should it look like? And you're going to begin to identify key areas that we're going to implement to bring families together. We're going to look for at-home tools. We're going to look for how our ministries work together better than they ever have before. We're going to look for how grandparents minister to teens, even though they might not be their own grandchildren. Parents can help mentor young married couples. I mean, there's so much overlap that happens in family that our church can begin to look different if we begin to think differently, which is a catchphrase that Stephen Jobs used for so many years as he stood there in his black mock turtleneck, black pants, his eccentric round glasses, and he would cast this vision for things that we wanted that we didn't even know existed. You know, we are engaging the digital culture differently because Stephen Jobs said, I want you to think differently. And he created a subculture within society. Starbucks has created a subculture. Harley has created a subculture. And now it's time for the church to create a culture that says family is important, every generation is important, and the only way it's going to happen is if we engage people's thinking and we teach them to think differently, and that family ministry based on Deuteronomy 6 or D6 really matters. Think differently about Deuteronomy 6.
Mm-hmm. Which is the perfect action step to wrap up these 30 days, being to think differently, which means this is a culture shift. This isn't just putting paint on the walls. This isn't just creating a really slick mission statement or vision statement that you put on letterhead or something like that, because those things fade. It means that we are truly changing our culture, the way we work, the way we think, even as the local body of Christ. And what that means is that this is going to take some time. It means that we've got to continue casting vision and recasting vision. The more you think you're saying it too much, you're not. You can't say it too much. You can't live it too much. And so we want to begin doing that. And what that could mean is that part of the action step today is that you literally get out a blank piece of paper and you say, if we were starting all over again with all that I know now about family ministry, what would that look like? How would we see this church functioning? What would we ask families to do? How would we empower and equip parents and grandparents and every generation to engage in this? And we think that that's going to be a great starting point for you to actually live out a different mindset. So don't forget to go to d6family.com/DNA to get the book, The DNA of D6. Again, for your team, for families, for parents, grandparents, it's going to be a great resource. But also, don't forget, we teased you with it at the beginning, but tomorrow there's a free session for you with Q&A with Ron. And what that means is that there are frequently asked questions that Ron gets often about this book and about family ministry. And so we just don't want to preach to you. We want to engage your questions. And so tomorrow, another opportunity for a free resource, you'll be able to hear him answer a lot of those frequently asked questions. So you don't want to miss out on that tomorrow. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope that this has been just as much of a blessing for you as it has been us. Blessings on your ministry. We love you so much, and we hope to engage with you soon.